Hi. Ian Bowden writes in the Caterer about blog wars and how they can affect the whole coffee industry. And this is something that I've been noticing on an increasing basis. Because what happens is, within what we do, we tend to attract the type of people who are bloggers. So if you're running, a coffee bar, coffee shop, whatever we want to call it, and you potentially have Wi-Fi or even have the ability to let people sit there and have a cup of coffee or a couple of cups of coffee with their laptops, you're kind of inviting in the sort of hip IT folk who will write blogs. Now the problem behind all of this is, if you potentially give bad service to a blogger who happens to blog about customer service or who happens to blog about the restaurant or coffee shop industry, or anything, or even just happens to be an opinionated blogger, your customer service problem could be on his blog and posted to the internet before he's left the coffee shop. So you need to be very, very careful about this. Ian Bowden comes up with an interesting example. Customer at Murky Coffee in Washington requested a triple shot of espresso over ice. The barista refused on the grounds that the espresso with ice is not right. So the customer asked for one triple espresso and one cup of ice, which he received and mixed them. The barista then gave the customer a lecture about espresso and how his job was to preserve the integrity of the drink. And in return, the customer said that he would have his coffee any way he pleased. Thank you very much. Curiously, he then left a dollar bill in the tip jar, but wrote "F you and your precious coffee policy." Normally, that would be the end of it, but the customer reported it on his online blog. The cafe owner responded on his own site, and within days, more than 100,000 online visitors were watching the row across the internet. So, in the past, you used to be concerned about these. Everybody come up with all sorts of ridiculous statistics as to how many people a disgruntled customer would tell. I remember reading, I think it was Richard Branson years ago, said that a disgruntled customer will tell 17 people. And a happy customer will only tell 3 people. So what you had to be very careful was, not to make people unhappy, so they tell those 17 people. Now you have the ability to make one customer unhappy and suddenly hundreds of thousands of people to know about it. So if ever you need to continue to focus on customer service, whether you're stating your case properly or not, and the customer is not always right, this is where this thing becomes very complex. But you have to work very, very hard and make sure that you are providing as good a customer service as possible, because the repercussions are huge. So you need to be very, very careful about it. You need to make sure you're providing the best customer service and quality of coffee that you possibly can, and not just expect to get away with it and not suddenly be found out.